Hey everybody, so here's another aftermarket parts review. This time we're looking at the photo-etch parts for the Lost in Space Chariot from Moebius, and this is by Paul of Paragrafix Modeling Systems. This is definitely another nice piece of photo-etch, which is one of the main things he concentrates on. It comes carded and with probably a good set of directions. We'll take a look at that, and a really nice looking set of decals produced by Graphics. So let's open this up and take a closer look at what we get. I usually take a look at the directions next, but I really want to take a look at the brass. And this is really some gorgeous work. The details on there are just really astonishing. No kind of blemishes, everything's perfectly aligned. And the details that you can get from photo etch are just really astonishing. Especially when compared to the plastic, of course. I had thought this piece of styrofoam was an accident or just something to help protect the brass itself, but there are two small pieces of aluminum tubing in here that do go on the model. Then as far as the decals go from Graphics, those are, as always, really spot on and great looking. That is in fact some silver finishing going on in there on that, looks like a speaker grill of sorts, if I can get some good focus going on. It is always just really great work from JT and Paul, of course. Let's take a look at the directions here, and I'll line a few of that pieces of the photo etch up to the plastic itself that it's supposed to replace. Looks like there's very few parts, maybe like 4 or 5 total, that do get replaced. One of the more difficult things for photo etch is replacing, or rather scraping off the original plastic. So if you recall from the Chariot video review I did, there's a lot of real graded like details in there, and all that has to be scraped away before the photo etch can go on. So you don't really have to, but it will definitely look a lot better if you do. And again, there's not too much to this. It's just 4 or 5 parts, which is really nice. I originally thought, just looking at the pieces, that this section here was some kind of fold-up box. So it's definitely nice to see that it goes on pretty much flat, though the edges do fold down, it looks like. So that would require a brass folder. And I think I got one of those on hand. I'll show you what that looks like. So overall, it looks pretty easy, you know, as far as any kind of skill level 3 thing goes. And it should not be too bad. It's certainly going to add a huge level of realism to the model kit itself. So let me go get that brass bender, and we'll pull out some of these parts and take a look. So I just pulled out a couple pieces here to take a quick look at what's going on. So for example, up here, this grill piece gets bent around the edges and then inserted into the top of that piece. And when I say bent, you can see that the edges there fold down. And this is a brass bender, basically. This was provided to me courtesy of Skinny Once over at Hobby Talk, and thanks very much, dude. This is going to be far more useful than I initially thought it was going to be. Essentially, the round button here gets loosened up so you can create a gap in between that area right there. Clamp your photo etch in where it needs to bend. Tighten that down again so it's really firm. And just bend at a right angle, which is exactly what all these corners here are going to need. There's another piece here, part 18. The top and sides there, you can see that those kind of go over the main grill, and those get bent to form a box, which goes around here. You can also apply it flat to that piece, in which case you have to cut off all 4 of those edges. 2 other grill parts here and here also go on to this area just below that. I couldn't quite find the piece where those belong though. And then looking at this main control panel here, all of these details have to be scraped off, whether you chisel them, file them, I might even belt sand mine to get rid of that. And this huge piece here and that piece there go on to replace this. You can see that, if we get a close up here, some focus, all this beautiful detail here. While the plastic is definitely nicely, beautifully detailed, it's plastic and it only has certain limitations, and photo etch definitely blows the limitations of plastic away. I'm kind of thinking that, considering the huge amount of detail on here, it might almost be better to just rebuild this piece from a spare plain piece of styrene. Just simply trace the shape, cut it to fit, glue it at the proper angles, 2-3 pieces, and you're all done. No scraping to do, and you just apply the photo etch to that. We'll see when I get to building this. I don't plan on building it anytime soon, but now that I have the Space Pod and Jupiter and Chariot in-house, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should just build them all simultaneously and get it out of the way. But we'll see about that. As I was saying, though, this is definitely a really great piece of work from Paul, and definitely up to his high standards, and it's really going to add a level of realism to the model kit that you wouldn't get otherwise. So if you're spending $40–50 on the model, another $20–30 on this, there's all sorts of aftermarket accessories for this model, and you can find them online if you search for them. Paragrafix.biz, you'll definitely find several there, and there's a few other companies that are making stuff for this kit too. So search around and you'll find it, and I guess that's pretty much it for now. Great directions, totally thorough, great decals here, and just a beautiful piece of brass right there. So as always, thanks for watching. See ya.